friends, my name is Lindsey. I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction. Today we are on my floor, and not because of a book haul, which is typically why I am on my floor in my videos. We are organizing books, or I am getting books. But today, no, we are having arts and crafts with Lindsey. Woo, welcome! So I've really been enjoying doing my reading journal. I haven't given y'all a tour of this one or my 2024 one yet because I'm still behind, as always. That's shocking. Me behind on something? Never. But I have shared with y'all this one page. And so that is my priority list. And it's going really well, actually. I'm very proud of myself for how well it's working. But I have figured out, I think, the hack for me is that adding a book on Goodreads just does not give me enough, like, yay, I did it sensation. I need something that makes me visibly see the reward of reading that book. More so than just like, oh, I get to put it on my shelf, or I get to take it off my TBR shelf because I keep those books separate. I need something more. And so this worked out really well where I printed out, well, okay, let me clarify this. All of these are from FreePrints, which is an app, and you get a certain amount of, what's the word I'm looking for, 4x6 photo cards, and I've made a bunch of them on Canva, and I have multiple to a page, so I order those from FreePrints, and then I get them. You just pay shipping. It's typically like $7-8 max, depending on how many you get, of course. And then I just cut those out, and ta-da, they're for my journal. So these are a smaller size that I did for this priority list, and I did them all in black and white and in color. And so once I read the book, I get to replace the black and white cover for the color cover. Say that 5 times fast. And it has actually worked really, really well for me because this is such a pretty reward. I am such like a person who loves color. If the rainbow bookshelves didn't give that away, I really love color. So this has been a major motivation to, like, I don't want to see these boring black and white covers. Like, this is depressing. Even just cutting them out, I was sad. So it's really helped me have that motivation of having the colors. And so I thought we would take this and do a little bit of a twist on it for my summer TBR we're going to work on. Maybe. We'll see how this goes. I'm not sure. I'm not doing the black and white thing because this is kind of spur of the moment. I was thinking last night, I need to film a video. What video do I want to film? But all I could think about is I want to make a list of books I want to read for the summer. So basically, I'm having y'all join me in this fun little video. It's going to be rambly and chatty and all over the place, probably. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the book covers. So, like, let's see. We're going to take the book covers that I use for my monthly spreads. I have a ton of these. I've been printing them out like every month through FreePrints, and then I just cut them out when watching like booktube or whatnot. And so I have a bunch of these. I actually store them in 2 of these jewelry bead organizers, and I have them organized by author's last name. So I have a bunch of them, and I've pulled some. We're gonna pull a few more. And this is what I use for doing my monthly spread. So like these were all the books I read in January and then February, and I'm still working on March's. I haven't finished that one yet, but I read 29 books in March, which was amazing. That was great. Will that ever happen again? Probably not, but it was a great thought. So I have all of these covers of all the books I want to read because I don't like waiting till the end of the month. I go ahead and get printed the ones that I'm interested in. Perhaps that's not the best idea, but it helps, okay? It helps me. So we're going to keep on doing that, and then we're going to do them in little, as I whack myself, and these cardstock papers. I've got one for clean fiction, and I have one for Christian fiction. I'm going to attach them with like a washi tape, so it's not like, it won't harm the book cover. It won't be stuck on these forever. So then I can just take those and add them to my little monthly stack that I have. So like this is currently May's stack right here. And I've been keeping them on my bookshelf just because it's a fun motivation. And then I get to add it to my reading journal at the end of the month. It's been working great. I don't know if this is making any sense though. This may not be making any sense. Hopefully it's making somewhat sense. I'm going to grab a washi tape I never use and never will use because I only use it for like using it as like a double-sided tape, if you will. I have no idea if all my rambles just made sense. Hopefully they make sense. I'm not sure if they really do. So I have a tentative list I made on Canva last night trying to figure out what are all the books I need to read coming up in June. And then I just kept thinking, well, I want to read a lot of summer themed books. And I don't know how well that's going to go. We'll see. But I thought we would just try and see how this goes. I measured these papers out earlier. This is just like a normal cardstock 8.5 by 11 size paper, I think. And I can fit about 42 on each page, so that's not bad. So we're going to do one for Christian fiction and then one for clean fiction. And we're going to pop up on the screen the ones I'm going to talk about because I'm going to work on it physically and hopefully this works out. Wish me luck. Okay, so quick little disclaimer, as always, whenever I do a TBR, which is very rarely because I don't usually do TBRs, I never want it to sound like I am promoting or suggesting these books because I haven't read them, I don't know if I like them, and I don't know the content in them. So maybe go into this video with the, oh, I've read that one, or oh, I've heard this about this one, and feel free to let me know your thoughts on that or whatever you've heard. That's totally fine with me in the comments. But yeah, this definitely is not me recommending the books. This is me saying, hey, I'm really hopeful about reviewing these books and reading them, so please look out for my reviews. It's kind of more along that line. Okay, I do know there's a few I do not have. I haven't gotten them printed yet because I've just like started reading the series or that kind of thing. So to start off with those, the Christian Middle Grade series by Eleanor Clark. I think it's just called the Eleanor series, actually. And so I just reviewed book 1, Mary Elizabeth, and that was actually pretty delightful, so I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. It's kind of like, I guess you could say it's kind of like American Girl in a way, but it's in between American Girl and the Sisters in Time series. And the Sisters in Time series was basically a Christian version of American Girl, but with more historical details, and they covered a lot more time. And I wasn't personally a big fan of the Sisters in Time series. I know that's a very classic, beloved series for many. It didn't really keep my interest very well. So I was curious about this one, and this was all published like over 10 years ago, but they're all available on Kindle Unlimited, which I was pretty excited about. So I have read book 1, so then I have Victoria Grace, what is the title? A True Patriot? Courageous Patriot. Courageous Patriot. And then there's Katie Sue, I can't read that, Heading West, and then Sarah Jane Liberty's Torch. And those are the next ones in the series. So read one in June, July, August. I don't have those printed out, so we're going to have a little blank spot in this little thing for now, but I'll add them when I get them printed. I'm working on that. So with FreePrints, you get like 85 free prints a month, and I've shared about this on my personal Bookstagram, but I'll share about it here as well. I do have like a format link, if you will, that I use on Canva that I just use every time, and I add in the new covers. So like I save those via, I don't know, Amazon, Goodreads, that kind of places. Like I just save those and it works well. But I also have Keep 'Em Flying by Nell, Branum, and then Friends in Strange Places. And these are both releasing at the beginning of June. I actually pre-ordered the first book and I have it, so I know that one's gonna be read very soon. And I'm not quite sure if it is set in the 1940s or if it's just like a contemporary girl learning about her grandmother, Rosie the Riveter. I'm not quite sure which side it is. Not which side, like what kind of style it is. I'm not quite sure about that. But I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then I'll probably read the second book come July, even if I like mostly enjoy the first book. So we've got that one as well, and that's Friends in Strange Places. So Miss Victoria and Lady Georgiana are also on my list, and those are both by Taylor Paige, and they are historical, kind of upper middle grade, lower YA. I read the first book and enjoyed it. Basically, this main girl has 3 siblings, and their mother recently died, and they have been basically collected, if you will, by their uncle to come live with him. And so that's the thing. But then there's kind of secrets and stuff happening at his house, and then spies happen, and becoming a spy happens. And so I'm looking forward to reading book 2 and 3. I think book 2 is following her sister, which we met, but book 3, I don't recognize that name, so I'm not quite sure what that's about, so that will be interesting to find that out. And so see, I'm just kind of like sticking them on here, and then once I read them, I can take it off, put a check mark, and put the book cover in the pile for that month's reads. That's my thought. That's the theory. We'll see how this works out. We'll find out. Another one on my list to read come in June. I know for sure it will be in June because it's releasing in June. That's going to be Ly-Lan and the New Class Mix-Up. And this follows a Vietnamese American girl in her new classroom. I do think it's more of like a early reader, so it's probably going to be a little young for BFCG's target market of like 9 to 19. For sure the 19 side, but probably the 9 side as well. But I thought I would try it out. So we have that one. And then I have a few other ones. Let's see, like the Atlas of Untold Stories by Sara Brunsvold. This is by the author that wrote The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp and then the Divine Proverb of Streusel. She wrote both of those, and this is her new one, and it's about a mom and her 2 grown daughters going on a road trip, and I thought that would be interesting. It's a literary, I don't know how we say that, road trip. And so yeah, I'm not sure if I'll recognize like all of the literature references, but I'm gonna try my best. That's all I can promise. One thing I also want to keep in mind when I was forming this list, and actually I only picked like 30 on Canva last night when I was like drafting this up. I have space for about 42 on here, so you know, I may just fill this out and hope for the best, because you know, I was thinking 30 and 30, Christian fiction, clean fiction, and then that leaves me a little wiggle room, because I usually read about 20 books a month minimum usually. Now with the Kindle has changed my reading habits. Perhaps not for the better, but I'm getting more books read, so maybe it is for the better. And so I thought like 20, 20, 20 for June, July, August, that's fair. And then I've got a little wiggle room for ones that aren't on this list that just catch my eye because Amazon sent me an email of what's new on Kindle Unlimited. Because those things get me in trouble. Usually I know about the books, but it's like the reminder of a certain fairy tale book that I'm like, ooh, shiny new toy, must read it. And there goes there goes my TBR for the month. I'm very much a mood reader, and I can be to a degree. But what I also want to really keep in mind are the books I have in this priority list, because we're not quite halfway through the year, and I'm about halfway through this list, which is very, very exciting. I'd like to keep that going though. So I need to make sure I'm pulling ones from this. So like one on here would be The Colors of Rain by Abigail Hayven. Hayven? I can't see that. Hayven. I think that's the author's last name. And that has been on my list. I wanted to read it in the spring, and well, guess what? That didn't happen. So hopefully I can read that one out. I actually have that one on my physical TBR, and I do have a good stack of Christian YA, both fantasy and contemporary, and then just clean fantasy and YA, and I would like to do better at reading those. I feel like I've done maybe 2 total a month, and I feel like I can do better on that. So that would also be really good, because most of these are not on my physical TBR. So which ones are on my physical TBR? That's not even a 2-for-1 deal. That's like a 3-for-1 deal. And that one's on KU as well, I think. So that's even better. So really it's like a 4-for-1 deal. Wow. So I've been reading the mystery series, that's the Mysteries of Cobble Hill Farm, and I've been talking to y'all about those, and it's a cozy Christian mystery series, and I've just read book 9 here in May. Oh, that was a good one. That might be my new favorite in the series. It was very good. But I obviously have to read 10, 11, 12. So one of them, book 10 for June, will be Snake in the Grass, which, don't love that title. I'll tell you that right here. Don't love that title, don't love that cover. But I don't do snakes, so that's probably why. And then also, let's see, the next one was A Will and a Way, I think is book 11. And then Caught in the Trap is book 10. Yes. And so I saw a teaser of what's going to happen later in the series, and I cannot wait. Like, I'm so excited. I'm excited to find that out. But I also found out that Guidepost is doing a new mystery series that's just launched here. I think it's launching in June, or it just launched in May. I'm not sure what. And that's the Blackberry Valley Mystery Series, which actually, you know, I don't even remember what it's about. It had to do with like a restaurant or something. Let's look. The first one is Where There's Smoke. I know that's the whole where there's smoke, there's fire, but just saying the first part is just like hurting my brain. Mysteries are on the menu when Hannah, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, returns home to Blackberry Valley to open a restaurant. Get a taste of the intrigue when she uncovers a secret compartment with a mysterious box hidden inside. Who put it there and why? So yeah, they're usually cozy mysteries. They are not murder at all. So I've been trying to make sure I'm staying on top of those as best as I can for reviewing reasons. And that is one thing I'm constantly getting asked about, is what are some non-murder mysteries? And I think that's a fair question and one I'm constantly looking for myself. And so there's Where There's Smoke, There's Fire, which is the first one. Then we have The Key Question, Book 2, and then Seeds of Suspicion, Book 3. And I just have to say, Seeds of Suspicion, I think that's such a fun title. Because obviously it looks like it's going to have like gardening, I assume. Or like some kind of fair, maybe, just based off the cover. I don't know. But I'm very excited to start those, even though I've really been enjoying the Cobble Hill Farm series. I was actually going to start this Blackberry Valley Mystery Series. I was going to start that here in May. And then I decided, you know what, I'm enjoying the Cobble Hill Farm series so much, I don't really want to lose that. So I'm going to push that off. So we'll get that series started reviewing come in June. And yeah, that's what we'll do then. A contemporary YA one that I'm very intrigued by is Liabetes by Shanna M. Heath. And I read the author's other book, Salvaged, earlier. Oh, when was that? That was, I think that was last month I read it. I'm pretty sure. And I really enjoyed that one. This is her newest book though. And it is about a girl who is trying to get a scholarship. And she gets the scholarship, but like she's supposed to be a type 1 diabetic and she's not. So she's kind of having to lie about it. So I'm not thrilled with the idea of like lying, you know. Obviously that's not, don't love that idea. But I'm very curious to see how that's going to go for the main character and that kind of thing. So I have that one. It's on KU. And then let's see, what else do I have on this list? Becoming Lottie Moon by Emily Hall. I don't really actually remember anything about this one. I think it's a nonfiction that reads like fiction, if I remember right, based off of reviews. I'm not quite sure. But it's about Lottie Moon, the missionary, so I'm curious about it. And then I have The Summer of Us by Tori Martin. Well, number one, it's being read in the summer because, hello, it says The Summer of Us, and I think that's really interesting. But it's about twin girls who got cancer, and one of them's in remission and one is not. So I feel like it's going to be a tearjerker. A little concerned about that. I don't really like to cry, and I feel like I'll probably cry, so we'll find out how that goes. So another one I have is Quest of the Dragon's Princess by Lee Watts, and I'm not really sure what this one is about. Something about the main girl is a princess and she has a dragon, and she sets off alone on a magical quest to find her Prince Charming. I've heard it's cute. I've heard good things about it. I'm looking forward to trying it. I also have Christina Shaw's Lightbringer, and I don't remember what that one's actually about. Let's see, the main girl has lived a dark and drab existence all 14 years of her life. She's torn between her violent father's hatred of light and her ailing mother's secret longings for light, along with the bright colors that can only be seen in the light. But the light laws of her town have done a good job at keeping everything in the dark. That is until the guy, a boy who's only a few years older than the main girl, returns home with the brightest light shining from him. I'm assuming there's going to be a bit of an allegory to it, so I guess we'll just find out when I read it. Okay, sorry, I had to change my camera battery, but we have that one. And then I also have My Way by Ashley Al-Salibi. I'm not sure if that's how we pronounce the author's last name, but this is one that I read the first book, My Refuge, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to reading book 2. A lot of these are ones I've gotten from the author for review, and it's about time for me to review them. So we're going to be doing that. I'm trying to think, what other ones do I need to read? I can't really like hold it up for y'all well because they'll all start sliding around, but they're all organized by author's last name. So let me pull up the new Tree Street Kids one. Is it not here? And then now I run into the thing of I thought I had printed a certain one and I don't have it printed. So that's fun, Lindsey. That's really weird. I thought I already had that done and printed. But Mystery in Crooked Creek Woods by Amanda Clary Eastup. And then not the second book. That's the 4th book in the series. I'm going to read that one probably here in June. We'll find out. And then the book 5 is releasing in August, so I definitely have to read book 4 before then. And that's the one I thought I had printed, but I guess I don't. Oh no, I searched under C. It would be under E for Eastep. That's right, that's right. Wrong way, Lindsay. It's here. Ha! Here it is. Found it. Jack and the Red Giant, which actually looks like it's set in the winter. So, it'll be like a early wintry one, I suppose. And this is following a group of kids in the 1990s and just like their little antics and what they get into and the lessons they learn. Was it the third book or the second book? It might have been the second book, had where they're going to VBS, and I just loved that. It's been a very much a nostalgic just ride your bike around your town kind of storyline, and I just think that's really fun. So I've been enjoying that series, so I want to continue on with it. I recently read, and I'll be talking about it in my May wrap-up, and that is Recruit of Talionis. I'm not sure if that's how we pronounce it, actually. By C.J. Malassi. That's probably not it either. I'm so sorry. And so I read that one, and that is Christian YA dystopian, and I love a good dystopian book. Like, sign me up for that. And so I enjoyed a lot of different parts of it. I did think it was a wee bit predictable, but again, I've read a lot of dystopian books, so it takes a bit for a dystopian book to surprise me or go in a way I didn't expect. But I read book 1 and I enjoyed it enough that I want to continue on with the series. So that would be Fugitive of Talionis and Enemy of Talionis, however we say that. And then book 4, I backed the Kickstarter for the Kindle or the ebook copy, and I think that's coming in the fall. So I have plenty of time. I don't have to get those done necessarily in the summertime, but I thought I could start to try to hope and aim for that, if you will, so that's what we'll do. On the idea of Christian YA dystopian, though, I would honestly love to reread some favorite books in June for my birthday month. I think that would be lovely. I think that would be great fun. So, I don't know if that will actually happen, but I really would love to reread Jupiter Winds, Jupiter Storm, and then the prequel novella Under the Wire by C.J. Darlington. That was like such a favorite series of mine when I first got into not when I first got into BFCG, when I first started BFCG. I was so excited to read that series, and I just enjoyed it so much. So I would love to reread those and just, like, you know, fangirl and have fun and all of that. But so yes, Jupiter Winds and Jupiter Storm, Under the Wire, I really want to reread those because I honestly don't remember. Does the series end well, or like did it leave off like there was more books coming and they never came? Like, I don't even remember, and I should, because I adored the series, this book. So I'm very curious, will it still live up to the hype in my brain? I hope so, but I don't know, will it? Okay, so here is our check-in so far. I'm leaving these 3 blank because I don't have those covers, but then we still have a bit more room, so that's good. Another series I've been thinking it would be really good to reread, I'm not sure. Well, I have 2 series I think would be good to reread, but I don't know if I'll actually get to them or not. We'll see how that goes, I suppose. I'm just saying we'll see like every 5 seconds in this video. I'm so sorry. But that would be the Samantha Sanderson series by Robin Carroll. There's 4 books in that. Let's see. Samantha Sanderson at the Movies, Samantha Sanderson on the Scene, Samantha Sanderson Without a Trace, and then I think Off the Record, Samantha Sanderson Off the Record. I think that is book 4. And I remember really enjoying these, but I feel like I need to reread them and give them updated reviews so I can promote them better and like talk about them more. So like these are potential rereads. Also, the Destination Unknown, what is that? Roadside Assistance, Destination Unknown and Miles from Nowhere by Amy Clipston. I really adored this series, again, as a teen reader, so I thought it would be fun to reread them. I don't feel like my reviews on BFCG are as detailed as they could be either, so like that's another positive for getting those read. I don't know if that will happen. It's a pipe dream? What's that phrase? Pipe dream? I think that's the phrase. So we'll see if that happens. At some point I'd like that too, and that just feels very summerish to me, that series. I don't remember if it is summerish, so hopefully I can maybe knock those out. I do need to read The Undercover Heiress of Brockton by Kelly Gorshorn? I have no idea. I'm so sorry. And that is releasing in August towards the middle of the month, I believe. And that is about a girl who is an heiress who goes undercover. Great title. And I'm assuming that that's a place name. And so I read the first book in this multi-authored series and I was not impressed. So I'm a little leery now about this one, even though it's a totally different setting. It's not connected. It's by a totally different author. It's Barbar's new, multi-authored historical series. You know how they've done the, My Heart Belongs and the Heroines of World War II and then the Doors to the Past. It's like that, but it's this other new series that's, you know, multiple authors, different storylines, not connecting books. It's that kind of concept. So this is their new one, and I always want to try at least a couple of them, at least. And so this one and the first book in the series interested me. So I requested for a review for those on NetGalley and was accepted. I will say I didn't really care for the first book, and I'll talk about that in my May wrap-up next week. But I thought we'll still give this one a try because it's a different author, and maybe it will be a smashing success. We'll just have to see how that goes. My problem is I go through all these little tiny covers and I just go, ooh, wait, I want to read that one. I want to read that one. It's a problem. It's a really bad problem I have. Okay, I have room for 5 more. Oh boy. Okay, In Plain Sight by Leslie Wall is it's kind of more on that Catholic clean fiction side, but it is her newest one, and I've read, I think, all of her other books, so I wanted to read this one. I think though, even though there's like a dock, it's got snow, so I really probably should have read this in the winter, but here I am reading it now. That's fine. Oh well. I just found another 2 books I really should add to this pile. This is a problem. I keep looking, going, oh wait, I want to read that one. Oh wait, I want to read that one. It's like I'm a kid in a candy store, literally. So The Mermaid's Tale by Ellie Richmond. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, I think. It was a duology. I'm just going to put the first book on here because I don't have that much space. But if I like it, I'll continue on and continue reading the series. Yeah, I feel like looking at this, some of these are not going to happen. They're going to get pushed out for other books, but the idea is there. So I also have The Great Date Experiment by Ashley Mays, because this is contemporary YA. I believe it is Christian. I am not positive on that, but I think it is. And I always love a good contemporary YA in the summertime, so that's kind of more so that. And I have it on my physical TBR, so I really need to work on that physical TBR. And then 2 more I am pulling up. Yeah, I'm going to pull these. Transactions We Expose and Chaos We Unravel by Chelsea Michelle, which is a pen name for 2 different authors. And I'm trying to think which one is first. So Chaos We Unravel, that looks the 4th of July-ish. Is it? Yes, it is. Chaos breaks out at the annual 4th of July picnic. Okay, so I need to read Transactions We Expose first. The Chelsea Michelle books are comprised of 2 series, mini mysteries novellas and the mysteries, which are novels. Each of our books has a complete mystery so they can be read alone, but our characters and relationships progress as the series continues, so you may get mild spoilers if you read out of order. Here's our recommended reading order. Hours We Regret, which I've read, that was a mini mystery 1. Chaos We Unravel, mini mystery 2. Transactions We Expose, full mystery 1. Okay, so wait. Alright, so maybe Chaos We Unravel, then in July, late June, and then Transactions We Expose in August, maybe. Okay, so here is my paper. Look how fun and colorful it is. I did my rereads kind of tilted off to the side, and I'll write rereads, but I'll do Christian fiction up here. We'll get those other 3 in eventually. And so the idea is that as I read them, I take it off, undo the little bit of washi tape, put a check mark, why not? Because I like check marks. And then I can add the book cover to the stack for the books I've read so far that month. And I think this might work out. We'll see how this goes. So moving on into clean fiction, mainly this is going to be a bunch of fairy tale retellings and of series I'd like to finish. I've been in the middle of them. I need to just, like, you know, hunker down and get them read. And it's mainly because, like, the first book was good, but it entice me enough to continue on with the series. I'm missing one of them. No! Don't do this to me. Where is it? Oh no, I'm missing one. Don't do this to me. But one series I want to continue on reading, and I honestly thought I would have been done with by this time, but I'm not. So that's fine, is Sara Beran's The Order of the Fountain series. So book 2, Princess of the Beans, which is a retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk and Rapunzel. Then we have Maiden of the Sea, which I'm going to assume is a... Does Amazon say what that is? I'm going to assume that's The Little Mermaid, but perhaps it's not. I would say this is maybe a series by Sara Beran that's a little more on the serious side. I've read all of her other books outside of this series, and this has been... The first one was a little more... Not as, I don't want to say not as charming, but like it's different. Like those are full of puns and all of that, and this has a little more of a serious tone. You know what? I'll have to look back and look at my printed order, because sometimes I do have them, but they've been put in the wrong one, so I have to find it. That has happened a few times. So I'm going to leave a spot for that one. That was book 4 I'm missing, which that was like a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. And then we have The Healer and the Huntsman, which I'm going to assume is Little Red Riding Hood. The Swan and the Slipper, which sounds interesting. And then Beauty from the Beast. Not Beauty and the Beast, but it's Beauty from the Beast, inspired by Beauty and the Beast and East of the Sun, West of the Moon. So I want to continue on with this series. The first book I didn't love anywhere near as much as the other books I've read by Sara Beran, but I want to continue with this series and just, you know, continue it, see how it goes. I've enjoyed so many of her books. And then most exciting though, in August, her newest book, Tangle of Iron and Feathers, is coming out, and that is a Mulan meets the Goose Girl retelling. And that is part of the series that I have absolutely just adored. So I definitely want to read that one in August as soon as it releases. Celeste Baxendale's Bewitching Fairy Tales series. I read book 1 and I wasn't really impressed, which was so disappointing because I've enjoyed a lot of other books by her. So I haven't continued on with the series, but I've been told the rest of the series gets better. So I'm going to put them all on here, and that's going to like take up a chunk of this page, but we're going to try and see how it goes. So Mirror of Ice, Beasts of Beauty, Cinders of Glass, Songs of Stone, Sands of Deceit, Dreams of Rose, Thorns of Gold, of Chivalry, and Revenge. And so we'll see what I think of the series as it continues and find out. I'm also working on, I say very loosely, working on, who is the author? Camille Peters, her Kingdom Chronicles series, but I don't really want to put those on this list because that would take up a lot of room on this list. So we're not going to do that. But I do have 2 other series I'm in the middle of that are shorter, because the Kingdom Chronicles, that series is really long. And if you've read that series, I would love to know which ones were your favorites, especially if you've read the whole series. Like, get me excited for that series, because I'm really struggling with being interested in that one. So I'm like, I should just quit reading it. I know that makes sense, but I just really love a good fairy tale retelling, so I'm afraid I'm going to miss one. It's the fear of missing out, really. That's really what it is. I've read the first 2 books in Emily Deddy's Fairy Tale Royals series, and I really liked the first book. The second book was good, but I just didn't like it as much, and I felt like I was getting a little maybe burnt out on that world, so I paused reading it. But the 5th book is releasing in August. So we have Pearl of Magic, which is I think that was a Little Mermaid retelling. Yes, and then book 4, East of the Sun, West of the Moon, and then book 5 is releasing in August, and that's Hood of Secrets, and that's a Robin Hood retelling. And so I want to continue on with that, hopefully before the series releases, and then I can debate if I want to buy physical copies or not, because when I read the first book, I was very much like, yes, I want to get a copy of this book. It was really good. But then I read the second book, which was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and that's not really a retelling I have found I'm tired of it, and I found I just don't enjoy it as much. It's the proper way to organize that sentence. And so I don't know if that one was maybe just going to be the lowest in the series for me, and the other ones are really enjoyable. I'm not sure, so I want to continue on with the series and find out. I've also been reading Annabelle Raven's, what is this series name? Elves and Legends retelling. And so I've read book 1 and I liked it. Book 2 I liked a little less, but I want to continue on with the series. So book 3 is Nolan and the Elf, and that is a reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood. Then we have Ice and Elves, which is a reimagining Sleeping Beauty, which I'm really excited for because I love a good Sleeping Beauty retelling. And then Castella and the Elf is Beauty and the Beast. So we'll see how those go. Again, Beauty and the Beast that is not a selling point to me, but I'd like to continue on with the series, especially if the series is completed, because I have like that world is still lingering in my brain, and then I read other fairy tale retellings and I have to go, wait, hang on, who is this? What country is this? What history are you referring to? Kind of thing. You know? And so I've got too many of those going through. I've got too many tabs open in my brain on a normal day, but it gets kind of worse when I'm continuously reading different fairy tale retellings. So I really need to like commit and finish some of these series if I'm going to read them. And if I decide, oh, maybe not, this series isn't for me, that's okay too. That's okay. Just close that tab, Lindsey. One book that just had a cover reveal, it's a short story, so I do not have it printed out yet. It's on my list to get printed for my next order. But that is Moonflower by Anna Christine. Can we just appreciate how beautiful this cover is? And the author did it herself, and I'm just flabbergasted by that. It's so amazing, but it's so pretty. Her dress, the flowers, and then she's holding a dagger. I need to know. I need to know. It's a short story. I've got it on pre-order. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Because, like, just look at it. It's so pretty. But then you have like the dagger and royalty and secrets. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. And then I just pulled the rest of these. And I think I know now what else. This is a good list. This would be good to get all these read, Lindsey. This would be a good list. So I really liked Just Ella by Annette K. Larson. And I haven't finished with the series, which feels silly. These are not fairy tale retellings, but they are non-magical YA books that feel like fairy tale retellings, like, you know, that kind of medieval setting, maybe. And so I haven't read the rest of the series yet. I feel like I should because I greatly enjoyed the first book for a lot of different reasons. But book 2 is Missing Lily. Book 3 is Saving Marley. These are all about her sisters, though, and her sisters didn't really interest me in the first book. So I think that's part of the reason why I haven't picked them up, but I should. I should go ahead and read them. So then book 3, Painting Rain. Book 4, Keeping Kinley. I'm sorry, Keeping Kinley. And then I would like to read a couple duologies that I have started with book 1 of both of them, but I haven't read book 2 on either of them. So Drafted by Tommy Michelle is a clean YA dystopian book, and I've read that one, but I haven't read the next one. So I'd like to read the next one, and that is Undrafted. I own it. I backed the Kickstarter, and it's the end of duology, so I should read it. Then we have We Could Be Villains and We Will Be Heroes, and I've read book 1. I enjoyed it. I'd like to read book 2. Same kind of case. For some non-fantasy ones, I guess we could say, would be To Charm a Lady by Joanna Barker. It looks very summery, so I feel like it needs to be read in the summer. And that is a clean Regency book. I really enjoyed the first book, which was A Game of Hearts. Yeah, y'all have heard me talk about that one a lot, I'm sure. And so I want to read that one. I also had this one pop up on my Instagram, and I'm very curious about it. And that's Seize the Day by Anna Barbaros? Barroso, perhaps. I'm looking at these in very tiny. Like, these are like an inch by half an inch, y'all. I'm trying my best. And that one I think is contemporary clean YA. I always have a hesitancy, I guess you could say, about covers like this because like the animated people on the cover, rom-com style, sometimes is too much for my taste in the sense of content inside. But I've heard this is YA, so I'm hoping it will be on the clean side. I guess we'll find out. If y'all know, let me know. But I'll try that one out. We also have Adventure Summer by Mariah Delp. And Anna Christine actually did the cover of this one, which is what made it catch my eye. But it sounds like it's just like a really cute, very sweet summer themed book. So I thought I would try that one out as well. And then I have a bunch of either standalone books or first books in fantasy series. So Saints and Monsters by Aline McGinney, I think is the author's last name. Again, tiny font, I'm so sorry. And so I've heard different thoughts about this book and I'm very curious about it. Calculated by Nova McBee, I have heard so much hype about and I'm really like, I've been wanting to read it and I have the first book, but I just haven't read it. Silly me. And so I want to try to maybe read that one and continue on with the series in a hopefully timely fashion if I enjoy it. Becoming Hook by Mary Meekum is a Peter Pan retelling, but this is the start of a series and I think it's the 4th book is going to be coming out in August. So I thought maybe I could start the series and continue it just in time for the release of that 4th book, perhaps. I think that's Cinderella, but on a pirate ship, and that just has me very intrigued. I mean, you could just say Cinderella, and I'm basically sold there, so perhaps that's not that big of a selling point. I am currently reading Rapunzel's Gambit by her, which is her newest book, and I'm not super far into it, but I'm enjoying it so far. The main character is very, kind of devious, but like in a smart way. Like she likes a good challenge, and you can tell that. So I'm enjoying that one, but I want to read more of this author's books. We also have Evergreen Academy by Heather Snyder, I think is how we pronounce the author's last name. It is a cozy fantasy, and I need more cozy fantasy books in my life. I sincerely, truly do. Like, that's such a vibe I love. And so it has to do with, like, plant magic at a boarding school. And I have had my eye on it. Book 2 just released. So I kind of want to wait till the series is over, but at the same time, I think I really want to read it. So I think it would work out. Then we have Moonscript by H.S.J. Williams. And I'm pretty sure a couple of y'all told me it's actually Christian fiction with an allegory. I'm going to put it on the clean section for no particular reason, but my brain with the elves and everything, I don't know, my brain just tells me it's got to be clean fiction. What do you mean there's allegory and Christian content? That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to try that here, and then I will move it over if I have to, but it doesn't really matter. This is just like more for my brain of keeping them separated. And then Heir of the Curse by Deborah Grace White is book 1 in one of her series. I really want to read The Kingdom Submerged, A Kingdom Submerged by her, because look at the cool cover with the tail. It looks so cool. But this series comes before that series, so I'm going to try to be proper, maybe, and read Heir of the Curse, and I think it's 5 books in that series, or is it 3? I don't remember, but I'm going to try to read that series first, then I'll read the other series, maybe. Hello, this is Lindsey, who just finished this video but was just re-looking at the prettiness that we created and realized I forgot a book. And so that would be Illuminaire by Brunsvold. I have heard some really good things about this book and I'm very intrigued by it. I own it physically. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I'd like to get it done. And again, I'm trying to pull some books that are on my physical TBR as well so I can cross those off. So now back to the rest of this video. And then finally, Ocean of Sands by Jessica Flory. I've been meaning to read this book for months and I haven't, so I want to try to read it. And I really like the cover, so I don't know why I haven't read it. Was that all of them? Oh, You're Something Blue by Eva Austin. I've heard this is a clean, summer-themed YA book, so I thought we would try that one out as well. So here we go. That is my clean fiction TBR. Very lofty goals here with a couple missing. And then my Christian fiction one that has a couple missing. So, you know, let's add some pizzazz, and then I guess that'll be the end of this video. So let's do that real quick. I would love to know though if y'all have read any of these. Do any of these, like, do you know about any of them? What have you heard? Feel free to let me know. Okay. I'm trying. I usually, whenever I do my reading journals, I write like March, May, October, whatever, like 28 million times on a piece of paper, and then I cut out the best one. And then I attach that in, so I'm kind of like risking everything by doing it straight on the paper right here and on like a soft little step stool thing. So yeah, this isn't going as best as it could, but oh well. I don't really know if it needs washi tape. I think it's colorful enough without washi tape, so here's my Christian fiction one. And I'm leaving the 3 up here because I don't have those printed, and then my reread section. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a very hopeful list. I don't know if all of them will happen, of course, but there's potential. There's potential. So there's the Christian fiction, about 42-ish books, roughly. I misspelled fiction. I only type that word like 28 million times a day. Okay, Lindsey, good job. Can't believe that's the word I messed up on. Okay, close enough. I made it work. Okay, we made it work. But it's not that noticeable, right? It's really light colored anyway, so that's fine. So there is the clean fiction banner. Woo! This is a lot of books, but within 3 months, I think I can really knock them out, or at least a good amount of them. So, ta-da! Thanks for joining me in this very chatty video, my dear friends. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. I thought about letting y'all see what I was doing, but I couldn't really work the camera angle in a way I wanted for that, so that didn't quite work out, but here's my list. Will I get all of this? Because this is like, what, 84? This does not look like 84 books. Wow, that does not look like 84 books, but it is. So I'm definitely not getting all of those done. Definitely not happening. But the idea is there, and if I can knock off a lot of them, I'll be happy. I'll be happy if it's at least half of each page. Yeah, that's probably doable. So as I read them, I will take off the book cover, put a check mark, take off the washi tape on the back, and put the little book cover in my stack for the books I've read that month. And then I'll take that in turn and make my monthly reading spreads at the end of the month. So, okay, it turned out pretty decent, I think. It was fun, arts and crafty. Thanks for joining me. I could add stickers and whatnot, but I don't think I will. The covers are colorful enough for me. So that is it for this video. Thanks for joining me as we create my summer TBR. I would love to know if you've read any of these. Do you want to read any of these? Are any of these on your radar for the summer? What do you like reading in the summer? I would also love to know that because I need to work on a summer recommendations video. And hopefully I'll have some of these that I'll be able to add in to that video. But until then, I'm trying to work on some recommendations. But like what feels like summer to everyone? Because to me, it's usually contemporary YA or dystopian YA, which are like my 2 nostalgic genres, I guess you could say. So I'm really curious, like, what books feel like summer to you, and then what genres feel like summer to you? Please let me know. I would love, love, love to know. Help me out with that future video. And I do plan to make a video about binge reading, like, not about binge reading, but books that are good to binge read. I want to do a video on that, and that will probably come out later in the summer. So that would kind of help, I think, maybe as well. I hope so. So that is it for this video. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, even though I kind of rambled and went all over the place. But you got to see a peek of my beautiful reading journal, and I really do love how this has turned out. It's been quite fun. I'm very glad there are so many that I've been able to knock off, and hopefully I can get a few more off with this list. There's maybe, what is this? Let's see. 7. Okay, so it's 7 that were on this list that we just did today are on here. So hopefully I'll do a bit more than that, but that's not terrible. I can live with 7 over the next 3 months. That's not bad. I'll have to do better in the last quarter. Because like I've said before, with goals for me, like I can be like 10 away from my goal. Like if my goal is like say 50 and I'm 10 away, okay, that's not that big of a deal. But if the goal is 50 and I got like 45, 46 done, I'm going to be mad at myself. So I might as well have just like done it all. So we'll see how I do. I'll see how I do when it comes to meeting my goals. But that is this page. Those are my TBR, and we will see how this goes. I'll check in with y'all with my recent reads about what I've read and what I haven't read. Well, what I've read. We won't talk about what I haven't read because that's too long of a list. But I will see y'all next time. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Maybe y'all got some crafting done as well with me. I hope so. Or you got some good multitasking done with like laundry, dishes, all that. I love when I get messages from y'all like, oh, I watch your videos when I'm folding the laundry or whatever, because that's what I do to my booktuber friends, is like I watch a lot of y'all's videos when I'm multitasking and doing other stuff. And so I just think it's so fun when people do that with my videos. Such an odd little note, but just something I wanted to note. And yes, I hope y'all have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. I'm going to let y'all go before I just keep babbling on. But that is it. I think we have a good plan. Hopefully. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully now that I've made this list, I can somewhat stick to it and I won't be like, meh, and toss it off to the side, because I feel like that's really likely. I'm hoping it won't be that way. I'm hoping. We'll find out. But I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where there's a new review every Wednesday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday as well. I am also on Instagram under Books for Christian Girls, where I talk only about Christian fiction. And then Book Reviews by Lindsey is more of my personal bookstagram, where I talk about Christian fiction, clean fiction, what I'm reading, different thoughts, some fangirling. And then I post on both of those somewhat often, and more often in my stories than in my posts, really. But I'm also on, let's see, TikTok and Goodreads and Facebook and all the many social media sites to talk about books here, there, and everywhere. I hope y'all have an absolutely lovely rest of your day as summer is approaching. It's really hot, actually, in Texas today, which is no shock, but our summer has kicked in quickly, so I think that's also why I wanted to get this list worked on. So I'm gonna start reading and hopefully knock out a lot of these. So I hope y'all have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye, y'all!